So go ahead, Raphael. I think we can start. Your mic is mute in case you're talking.
Okay, I'm loading up the agenda. Unless you have it, we can start from your end.
Yeah, the first one. Okay, excuse me, guys. Yeah, I think I'm not gonna talk today. Sorry. Okay, fine. Go ahead.
The first item is review last week's to-do, and then the second one is HR7 processings, and then PCS lab processings. The last one is oncology module.
Okay, thanks, Ada. I do not think we had any to-dos last week. Okay, I haven't seen Manu has not posted the documentation. If someone would, do you have any? I think from today I'll be the one taking the notes because the one that was taken last week is not here. Do you have anyone with any to-dos from last week that we can share?
I don't. I think pretty much similar on the other agenda items, so maybe we can move to the next item.
Okay, thank you. So HL7 processing, this is, we just wanted to probably just share what, Will has not even slept, has been up until very late working on this. He has told me of what he has done and is commented on the JIRA ticket. I think we are moving towards getting the solution. So maybe Willa, you can give us any updates, any new thing that, because you said you are going to reprocess. I haven't seen from what I can see, I don't see them being processed. I don't know whether there's something that.
Yeah, Alpha, can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yeah. Okay, well, I promised Miencha that I was going to reprocess those messages, but then I thought, okay, while I was trying to do that, I kept recounting the messages, and at first I got some number, and then after like 1 minute or 2 minutes, I get some higher number, and then so they kept adding up. So I thought, okay, so I process these messages now, and then 1 hour later, there will be other messages that need to be reprocessed. So I thought, okay, instead of me doing that, I'll just let them pile up, but because you guys, you are ending up your day in about 1 hour or two, and then I'll deal with that, because that way then I'll just reprocess all of the messages and then try to fix that problem so that the next day, tomorrow, when people start working again on the system, then they won't have the same problem again. So basically, that's why I haven't done that yet.
Yeah, thank you. And then I've updated the ticket on why you are not able to, during our call yesterday, you mentioned that after you made some changes, you are not able to open the form. During today, when I went to FCT, they told me basically they had the same problem in the morning, and they had to remove some, to resolve proposed concept and remove some concepts for that to work. So I think I had actually invited Beth to be here because she knows what happened. So she had to do something to get that working. Maybe even in the course of doing that, maybe given that I looked at the HL7 messages, the OBR was still blank. Maybe even in the process of doing what they did, maybe that was affect. I don't know. But unless you have had any other information concerning that.
Yeah, so you said you invited the lady who did that, right?
Yeah, I invited her to come, but she's not yet here.
Okay.
Maybe Eda has some information on what happens, because I understand that when you rebuild the XSN, there are concepts that have a problem. So she would ideally, I don't know what she deletes, because I told her to write an email explaining maybe the process she goes through so that I can update on that ticket. And if you look at that ticket, I updated and said below is a summary of the steps. Because I was waiting for her to come so that I put that information, and on the ticket I've not put that because I didn't actually get what she does. But she told me there is a concept that she resolves and some that she deletes. I don't know how that may affect our work.
Okay, for which form?
347.
Only that one, or there are others she's been doing the same thing?
Because you said you had, when you reviewed an XSN, because you said you reviewed the XSN for that, and then she had to do that for the form to open. So maybe if you reviewed the XSN for another form, she would also do the same.
Okay, the one who did this is what, Petronilla, or?
Petronilla, yes.
Okay. Okay, it would be nice to know what she did. Yeah, okay, fine. So we'll just wait for, I don't know if we'll have to wait now, but if she doesn't come, then I think you'll have to get that information and share it with us so that I know what is happening. Because every time, see, the thing is, if I need to fix that problem, I'll need to modify the form and see what happens. So if I modify the forms and then it picks up some things that makes the form unusable, then it would be good to know what is the problem so that we can even fix that particular problem once and for all, instead of having to refix the same problem every time we do some changes on the form.
Exactly, yeah. Bonnie is trying to call her. We hope maybe she'll make it. Otherwise, I'll just update that ticket because it will be very important for, as you said, to know maybe there is something that is breaking up. That's why when you make your change, maybe they interfere with something else that she reverses when she does whatever she does. Never know.
Yeah, sure. Okay, thanks. Appreciate that.
So the next one was the PCS and lab processing. Bonnie had indicated that I put this one here, but we discussed this with you yesterday, and I told you the thing was that when Augustine basically mentioned that we had actually put that module in production, we didn't do it because I was there with him when we were trying to test, and I've just updated the ticket with the exact things that we did and what needs to be done. So the module that we made changes on has not been put in production. So once we get that in production, we should be able to resolve the PCS issues.
Okay, so you're saying that we should have a to put that module on production, maybe by tomorrow. That should be easy. I mean, it's just putting it on production, right? Yeah, we can have issues, but I don't think we expect any issues at this point.
Sure. So the last item was the oncology module. We had a discussion with Boniface this morning, and also that came up based on viewing your exchange of emails with Sam, and you are saying probably from our end there will be nothing going on. You lead the process as we had discussed before, and that basically the system admins will not do anything going forward until maybe you give them a green light to do so. And basically to be good for us to also ensure that whatever we are discussing with Sam on the email, that we get that updated somewhere, maybe in the system, in the user manual, so that at least at one point when one decides to use the module, they will be able to know these are some of the issues, like what I saw him mentioning, maybe spaces in the role, or maybe if there is any other configuration that has not been provided in the manual, it will at least ensure that that is done.
Sorry guys, I was on mute. Okay, so Alfayo, yeah, Sam is mentioned some of the reasons that might be causing the module not to work on my end. One of the things he said, spaces. I have asked him for the call, and I'll ask you to help me on that because I just sent an email, and I think he hasn't replied to that yet. And we are supposed to have that call like 40 minutes from now. I'm not sure if we'll be able to do it. So if you just give him a call and ask him to respond to that email. very helpful. The second thing I want to talk about is talking about roles having spaces. But if you look at the method that is looking for the role in the user's role pool, it does first. It does at one of the stages. It does the trimming of the role. So that shouldn't be an issue unless that space is in between the role. But there's only one space, which is exactly what the role is, the way the role is displayed on the manual page. So yeah, well, maybe there's something with the roles, but that's why I needed that call with him so that we can do it with him stage by stage and see what happens. Because like I told you, you guys, you actually reported that the module is working on task server, and when I used the same users you created on task server, still I couldn't get the effect you guys said you were getting. I wasn't being redirected. So I guess there's something wrong maybe with the module we are using. It's different from what he's using. So I needed to be sure we are on the same page with Sam. So at this point, the most important thing is for you to contact Sam, or any of you guys at Ampath to contact Sam and to make sure that he responding to the email, and we set up the call and discuss this thing further. Another thing is, I think Bonnie is also, Bonnie is there, right? So Bonnie is the one who is
Yes.
the, yeah. So I think Bonnie, you're taking, you're also managing this one by, you know, updating the necessary pages about the things which are going on with the module, right?
Not at the moment, Wheeler, because there are so many things going on, and based on what Martin said, uh, he mentioned that you will help lead the process to get the module running, and when you need anything from us, basically we'll help follow up. So I just wanted to suggest whether it's possible for us to create a ticket that will help track, or should we have all the details that you're working on with Sam pasted under the to-do for getting the code to GitHub? I don't know, because there are several mails going on around involving the same, and there are issues about fixing the module that I've seen you guys discuss via mail that I thought would be important to have on an email, so that once we have a conclusive agreement that the module is working, we can document the different processes of configuring it.
Yeah, Bonnie. Okay. Yeah, you're right. So I'm taking the lead on this one, but that is on the task of making the module work, on the development issues, on the where it should be installed on the server and stuff like that. The reason, that's why in every of the email exchange I do with Sam, I always make sure that I include you. So you're always there. So whatever is going on, I think you see whatever is going on. So yeah, maybe the discussion would be like, should we need a ticket or should we need a wiki page for this? At this point, I'm not very sure which one is better.
I think a ticket would be better, because a wiki page would be a wiki page should have something that is conclusively agreed upon. I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you, and I think we do have a ticket on that. On college, there is a ticket, and I'm not sure if it is closed yet. Just let me look it up right now.
Yeah, and regarding whatever feedback you gave when you're testing, actually the feedback you got, I got when I was sitting down with Miencha to attempt testing the module. It's actually the same.
Oh, okay. So you're saying you're also getting the same behavior?
Yeah, that's the same behavior we got last time when we were working with Miencha.
Okay.
Yeah, because our expectation was to default to the oncology page, which displays two links, one for oncology nurse and the other for oncology clinician.
Yeah, that is if the user has both of those two roles. If it is just one, yeah.
Yeah, that was our expectation, but that didn't work, apparently. It defaults to the current page that we usually see when we are finding patients.
Yeah, that's why I need a discussion with Bon, because in that module which I modified and used the role page, the role, what is that? Role based on page module. Actually, it worked, and I think that's the one you guys tested first, and it was working. When you do the clinician, then you get that page, because that is what the RBPH. That's what it does. When you have multiple roles, it will give you that page to select the role by which to log in. Yeah, so that's, I think this call is very important with Sam. So if you guys can help to next time speed up things by contacting us on when you can have the call so that we can discuss this, it will be better.
Okay. Let Alfayo call Sam right away.
Okay.
So I guess whatever issues we are hitting on is because probably from what I've seen from the admin manual, there are no proper configurations as expected to basically either load the module or basically getting it to work and have users configured properly. And that's why I was hoping that some would help provide those in a documented format, because right now what we are doing is we are trying to send emails back and forth to him to try and find out whether whatever we are doing is right, and some configurations he's sharing actually do not exist in that admin manual. So uh, like you say, if he agrees to have a call with us, it would be good. But in addition to that, if he provides all the details related to configurations, that would be good, because then if we follow all those and we get what we want or what is expected on the module, I don't think we'll need to uh, look for him all the time. But basically, like you say, I think it's good if he finds time to have a call with you so that we can properly get the details.
Yeah, so basically I agree with you. Excuse me. So yeah, that's the thing. So the manual is sharing. Yeah, I think maybe either the module has some issue or the manual is not complete. What you see in the manual is not exactly what is supposed to be there. That's why.
Yeah.
That's why, like I said, we just need to have the call with Sam so that he can clarify the things. It's easy if you are talking and trying things, then like Martin suggested on the email, like sending email back and forth, because Sam is suggesting I have spaces in my roles, and I'm sure I don't have spaces. So
Yeah.
so yeah.
And had you also set the other global properties? I can't remember them very well, because I remember Mencha configuring some properties to be able to allow some of the pages to show up.
Well, when I wrote an email the first time, not the first time, after a series of email, I was supposed to. Mianchi actually reported that the module was working fine, and then Martin asked me to confirm if the module was working. Then I tested it. I didn't get the behavior expected, and then I emailed Sam. I told him I'm not getting the behavior. He said you have to configure the module exactly following the instruction exactly in the manual. So I just went through the manual. I didn't do anything outside the manual because I didn't want to do something that is not in there, and then later on some would say that, okay, if you're not supposed to do that, or because you did that, that's why it is behaving that way. I did exactly what is described in the manual, and it doesn't work. So I didn't, those configuration global or anything, they are not in the manual. And if there's anything in the manual, I made sure that I configured it as instructed in the manual.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, for us, and I agree with you totally, Wheeler. For us, I think what's important is to once we talk to him and we get to understand some of the things that we are doing or not right, or if he adds a few things that are not part of the manual, I think that where we've reached, I think we need to, the moment the module works, I think we need to make sure that for our own implementation, we make sure that we document the configuration processes required, because it seems as though uh, we are not getting things clearly from him. Things are getting to us in piecemeal.
Yeah, that's true. Okay. Ada, there's something I'm seeing here on oncology issues. There is oncology 14, for example. I don't know. It is saying, I think it is saying oncology via form not saving data. I don't know which. I mean, are you testing oncology or what's going on here?
Ada is not here.
Oh, she's not here. She's gone.
Yeah, she's gone.
Oh, okay. Yeah, okay. Bonnie, I was just going through these oncology tickets. There are several of them, like you have seen so far. There's the oncology until oncology 14, which means they will have 14 tickets. I've been looking from the 11th because that's the one which we have been working on until the 14th one. There's none that describes what we are doing right now. All others, they have to do with the oncology is not doing that, and it's like these tickets, the ones we have, they are past the stage which we're working on right now, the stage of making the module behave as we want, so that we can try doing other stuff with it. So, well, I mean, if we were dealing with these other problems, yeah, we could be updating these tickets, but because now we're not dealing with these problems, then so we are going back and forth. I mean, it seemed like we were past that stage, but we are back to this particular phase stage. So basically, maybe I don't know. What do you guys think? Should we? We can create another ticket for this.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, well, I think where we are right now, basically based on what you're doing, because whatever we expect what you'll be doing will get us somewhere, because previously we've been going in circles. So moving forward, I think if we have a ticket that basically attempts to log some of the issues that attempts basically to log the configuration issues, so that finally we can be able to put up a document that will assist us in terms of setting up. That will help, because looking at the way things are, my suspicion is probably the information on how to configure the module is not quite clear for us, because if that is done and the module works, then it means we don't need any code fixing or stuff like that. But if we find issues related to uh, requiring that the code for the module be fixed, then we'll file different tickets if it's done with our developers. But if it's done with some, then we'll just document that he needs to fix this and this and these particular issues. That's what I think.
I agree. I don't know about others. Well, Bonnie, I think silence means acceptance. So your idea is the way to go.
Okay.
So Bonnie, you're gonna do the ticket for us?
I don't know. I just wanted you to start up the process so that I can, if I find details on emails, I can pull those and put in the ticket.
Okay, fine. I'll do that. I'll do that. No problem.
Yeah. Yeah. Thanks.
Okay. I think the ball is on your court, Alpha.
Alpha is still, he stepped out to talk to Sam. I don't know if he's able. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, fine. So it seems like we're done. We that's the only agendas we had. Yeah, but there's something else is not on the agenda, but I wanted you to. I was hoping you could remind me. You remember that time where we were trying to fix the the way the search is done for providers in the info platforms? Unfortunately, yeah. So I actually I don't remember the names of the files you showed me. Could you please just remind me those?
Oh, the I think we were looking for the provider in the what is it? I forget the name of the info path. It's a form entry module, and there's a panel on the sides that shows providers. I think if you search that form entry repo for provider, it'll probably get you to it quickly.
Yeah, it's they were JavaScript files, so I don't really remember the names. That's the thing. So okay.
Yeah, the JavaScript there's an OpenMRS JavaScript that's a core one shared by all forms, and then there might be some specific JavaScript per form.
Yeah, so that would be OpenMRS.js. I don't think that's the one we looked at. We didn't find that functionality there. It is it was in the form entry itself, I guess. Maybe provider.js. I tried to look for them, but I couldn't. That's why. Anyway, maybe
yeah, I think that what we found is that um, there was a method that was setting the value, and what we wanted to test was if we just add circumflexes to the value, would it just insert that?
Yeah.
Because it's basically just putting key circumflex value, and if we can give a value that has, you know, a bunch of circumflexes and then the actual, like, the provider authority, then ideally what it will put into the form will be the key circumflex, you know, key circumflex number, and then whatever it is, you know, 8 more circumflexes or 7 more circumflexes, and then the provider authority.
Yeah.
So,
wait, but yeah. Sorry. What are we trying to solve again? Maybe we are talking about a different problem here.
I think, yeah, what we were looking at was when someone goes and selects a provider in form entry,
Yeah.
we wanted to store into the form, into the data model for that form, instead of just a number, we wanted to store a number, and then, you know, I think it stores the number and the person's name in parentheses. We wanted to store that followed by a series of circumflexes and then the provider authority.
Okay. We wanted
That
to
way, whenever someone selected a provider, we would know that it was a provider number.
Oh, okay. Yeah, right. That's okay. This is a totally different problem I was trying to ask you about here, actually. Yeah. Okay. So you remember that problem that when you search for a provider, and then you especially they give this example every time. Like you search for 641, you get everything that contains 641 in the beginning, in the middle, and at the end. You see, it is searching everywhere. That's the one. Okay. This is something that the one we wanted to.
That was a different one. Okay.
Yeah, that was a different one. Okay. So anyway, so this one was for making the forms in order to not to have to change the XSLT for forms from the remote server, and then yeah. Okay. Okay, this is a different one. So
yeah, hopefully there's 2 different tickets for those 2 different issues.
Actually, there isn't even a ticket for the one we were trying to solve. So yeah, there's.
Then we shouldn't be working on it.
Well, it was. I'm the one who confused things. I was trying to work on the other one with the ticket, and I thought we were trying to solve that one. While in fact we were trying to solve the other one for not having to change the XSLT every time we have from server. So yeah. So I wasn't working on that anyway.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks. Okay. Appreciate that.
Well, I talked to Sam. He's not able to make it today, but he could make it tomorrow at 4. I don't know whether, but I've just remembered tomorrow we'll be having the technical call. Don't know whether you can have the meeting during that time or you'd prefer another time.
At 4. I thought you said at 3 in the chat window.
No, I think Bonnie wrote at 3, but I wanted to confirm from you if you can be available at 3, and then I call him, tell him maybe at 3, because he's not able to make it at today, but tomorrow he'll be available. He had proposed for 4 p.m. tomorrow.
So that would mean we are going to miss the technical call. So I'll tell you what. You can do one thing. You can try to ask him if we can make it at 3. If not, then I don't know. Maybe we can miss the technical call.
Okay. So let me confirm. Anyway, Pet is here. She can take us through the other issue.
Oh, that would be great. Yeah.
Okay. This is Petronila. After the system upgrade, like a month ago, there was this error that occurred after we tried resolving a proposed concept. And so what we've been doing, we filed the tickets on the same. And what we've been doing when data assistants cannot be able to open the forms is we delete the question on the schema that contains that concept ID. The concept ID is 5993. So we normally delete that question, we pull it back, and then we rebuild the XSN. After that, the guys are able to open the form. So yesterday morning, I was asked by the system admins that the data systems are not able to open the forms because of the schema validation error. So I followed the same procedure on all the forms: the adult initial, adult return, pediatric initial, PMTC, ANC, and PNC. I deleted any question that had concept ID 5993, pulled the question back, rebuilt the XSN, and the form was able to open. That is what I did.
Petronida, thank you for that. What's the ticket number? Excuse me.
Yeah, let's try to check. It's under FCT project actually.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so Petronida, do you have any idea why that happens?
I don't know.
What question 5993?
5993. Okay, let's look at that thing.
So as I had explained earlier, after system upgrade, there is this procedure of resolving proposed concepts. So those are proposed concepts that we try to resolve after system upgrade to 1.9. And the concept ID was 5993. We added a synonym to that concept. The synonym is PV discharge. And after that, data assistants were not able to open forms due to a schema validation error that is linked to the PV discharge. So what we've been doing to ensure that they are able to open the forms is deleting any question that has concept ID 5993, and then rebuild the form. After that, the form is able to be opened.
Okay. Actually,
So,
yeah. Okay, but go ahead.
And we filed
that was a proposed concept, but it was being used in forms?
Say that again, Buck, sorry.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I'm just not quite following. You said the problem was with concept proposals. Is that
Originally, I think what she's mentioning is that originally attempts were made within production to resolve proposed concepts that were in the queue. You know, usually when data clerks are entering data, when they don't find something existing in the dictionary, there's a way where they can navigate and add a proposal so that it can be resolved later.
That's for diagnoses, yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's actually part of that. So when that resolution was being made, there is an error that occurred on
59 PV discharge.
On PV discharge, which is one of the concepts that was being worked on. I think a synonym was being added to that particular existing concept. So when that was added, it actually caused an error in terms of in all the forms that were using that particular concept. So forms could not open because of that.
Yeah.
Is that true?
Yeah.
Bonnie, can you please explain again? I'm sorry, I didn't quite follow. Why Mark asked why the proposed concept was used in the forms? What was the answer to that? Mark, you're breaking up.
Our diagnoses. So that's usually when they're putting in adding problems to the problem list. There's an opportunity to propose a new diagnosis. So I assume this is PV discharge as a diagnosis.
Mark, actually, you broke up at first, and then I just heard the last part, like when they are proposing concept, and then you assume that the PV discharge is a diagnosis. That's it. I didn't quite hear the first part.
All right. Well, I'm at my laptop now, so I'll try looking up that concept.
Yeah, it doesn't even have that synonym. The PV discharge is not there. The synonyms is blank actually. There's just a name there and that's it. There's no such.
Yeah, but
It is existing somewhere.
it is existing in the database. I think that is the error that we got after. So, Willa, let me just try and explain. We have a long list of these proposed concepts that we are supposed to resolve after some time. So we've been under each proposed concept. You can either ignore the concept, you can either add it as a synonym, or you can either create a new concept. So for this case, 5993, we added a synonym, that is PV discharge, to 5993. But we were not able to view that synonym, and we filed a ticket on that. But when we queried the database, the synonym was there, and it was added several times, but we are not able to view it on the concept dictionary.
Yeah, maybe Sarah can say something about this. Sarah?
Sorry, I just posted a link to a wiki page, and can y'all hear me? Did I?
I can.
Okay, making sure I did that right. I just posted a link to a wiki page in the comments that gives just a little bit of a background on how proposed concepts are handled by the FCT. I think that the issue isn't where the concept came from, but that there is an error in adding it to the database. I'm looking for more of the details, and Petronella, would you let us know what ticket number you created? Because I looked in JIRA for all the tickets that you created, and I can't seem to find it.
So back to add a little bit more information, within the form code for the task pen, it's possible for you to also allow a symptom or finding to be added as part of whatever you want on a form. So
Yeah,
it's not only diagnosis.
Yeah, it's anything on the problem list. Yes.
Yeah. So
it
in
looks
this
like
case,
that's a valid concept for it, but it sounds like there's something funky going on with the concept if that synonym was added and it's in the database yet it's not being shown.
Yeah. I'm trying to look for the ticket. I can't remember the number very well. I wish I did. But we had filed it under FCT projects. I know it was closed for a reason, but it had a lot of info about what we're discussing right now.
I'm searching the FCT JIRA tickets, all reported by Petronella, and it's not here. Who did the reporting if it wasn't Petronella?
I think I don't know if I reported it. I'm not sure.
Thank you.
Oh my, what a mess.
429 CFCT.
We're hearing that, Mark.
Yeah, let us know what that mess is, please. MRS. Trying to navigate back and look at MRS.
I just did a sequel. I went into Groovy, the Groovy editor, and did a sequel for all concept name or concept ID is 5993, and there are many, many, many of them.
Wow.
Is that even possible, Mark? Isn't ID supposed to be the primary key or something else? What's going on? How does that happen?
Yeah, it's possible.
There's
It's possible.
143 entries in concept name for that concept.
Oh.
Ah, okay, names, right. Okay. Okay, so you have 43 names for the same concept. So that
Yeah, they're all PV discharge. They all have different UUIDs. They're all entered on June 23rd at 3:33, but the seconds are 19, 20, 21, 22. So it looks like something was some. Yeah, given that there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, nearly a dozen per second, I would be surprised that a human being could have done that. It looks more like some code was trying to add it, but it did it over a series of, it looks like about a minute. It added about a dozen per second for a minute.
or maybe a very fast human being.
And I was actually, I think you were working with Petronila and my account was active at the time.
Okay, so you are the first human being who did that, Bonnie?
Not the human. The human being was attempting to resolve a proposed concept, but not the one probably that duplicated. Not sure. Because you remember we did it only once.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Then you file the ticket.
yeah.
I'm still, that still doesn't the question, why would that happen? I mean, because what I did is I changed something else, I reviewed an XSN, and tomorrow somebody comes, use the forms. The form is not usable because you have that. Okay, so it seems, how does it pick this the other concept if it wasn't there in the first place? So that's something, okay, I guess this is not the question you guys can answer. Or maybe if you can try, but it is still, I still don't understand how did this happen.
Yeah, it's weird. I mean, the locale preferred, which should be a Boolean, is set to 2 for vaginal discharge, and it's set to 145 for every PV discharge.
Okay.
I don't know why a Boolean value would be set to 145.
145, yeah. It is true, isn't it? Technically, all right?
In MySQL, it's I think it's a tiny int or something, so it's technically possible. It just seems strange that it would do that for a Boolean.
Yeah, and that must be a code, like you said.
MRS 265. I just posted it. MRS 265.
Okay, thanks, Bonnie.
Well, and it looks like the creator is being incremented with each entry. So the creator started at 12.117, and then every entry after that, it was incremented by 1.
How is that possible if we only did the action once? I mean, that was what caused us to file this particular ticket.
At some point walisema ni local.
Yeah, and it doesn't look like those users exist.
That user, back, I think that user should be 145 dash something, I think.
Ah, Bonnie's 145.
Yeah, exactly. That's me.
So that would suggest that's a user. So it's, I guess these are, maybe the columns are in a different order.
Yeah, that would make sense. So what do we have in the user? I mean, do we have something that makes sense? Or maybe 11100, something like that?
Okay, so I I described the table so I get the columns in the right order. So, so concept ID is the same for all 5993. The name is vaginal discharge for the primary, the fully specified name, and then PV discharge for all the other 142 entries. Locale is ENGB for all the synonyms, but EN for, that might be part of why it's not showing up, is that it's the concept is in English EN, and the locale for everything else is ENGB. We talked about the creator is Bonnie for everything. I think it's probably Paul created the first one and Bonnie created all the 142 synonyms. And date created. Yeah, okay, so the concept name ID, that's the incrementing number, so that makes sense. So essentially they're all new distinct concept names. But it it doesn't seem like a concept name with the exact same text in the same locale should be allowed. So it looks like a bug. What I'm afraid to do is look at the rest of the concept dictionary and see if this is happening elsewhere.
Yeah, what we did back is that immediately that happened, I stopped the process of resolving proposed concepts and said we not do that until we figure out what is happening. And that's basically one of the
Yeah,
reasons.
that's got to be a bug in the. Probably what happened is there's a bug in the proposed concept code that went, and instead of resolving this as a synonym and then applying that to every case where it had been proposed, it probably went one by one to every encounter. My guess is there was 142 encounters where people had proposed it, and it went to each one and created a new concept name, a new synonym, and then assigned that. So, yeah. Yeah, that's got to be a bug in the concept proposal code. So we can export these data and then remove all but one of the synonyms.
And maybe change this thing, the locale from ENGB to EN for the synonym.
And we better be careful about that. Yeah, I remember we had a lot of discussions about changing the locale.
Yeah.
I don't know what was the final conclusion, but I don't know. I'm just worried what will happen if that is changed right now.
Actually, that is exactly why I asked Sarah to say something about it, because I suspected.
Okay.
Yeah, since you started talking about the creating synonyms not showing up on the web page, I thought Sarah might have an experience with this.
Okay.
I haven't been able to actually resolve any proposed concepts myself, but Petronilla has been doing it. I am still looking through the ticket, and I'm thinking that we need some more screenshots that delineate a little more of the details. Petronilla, are you still there?
Yeah, I'm here. I remember on the local issue, we did a few tests on the test server, and I responded this to Eda and Sarah over email. And every other time we have the allowed, we have the allowed locale and the, I think the default locale. If they were different, then you are not able to view the synonym. But when they were the same, then you'll be able to view the synonym. So that is when they changed the allowed locale and the default locale to be the same.
Petronella, when the locale error was occurring and we were researching that, how many concepts were being created and proposed concepts were being resolved? Was it many, or was it just a few? Because if I recall, it was like a day or two process to get that resolved.
Okay, after we got that error on vaginal discharge, that is concept ID 5993, trying to resolve that concept, we stopped resolving any other proposed concept.
Okay. Okay, well that's eliminated.
More errors.
So it sounds like if the locale issue was part of this problem, then Burke's solution, where we delete all the extra ones, makes sense. Can we move forward with that?
Looks like caretaker 1410 is another problem. I see that repeated multiple times.
1410.
1410. I don't know. Yeah, it looks like that's a similar problem. There's fewer of them. There's only 1410 only has 16 synonyms instead of 143, but it looks like the same problem.
So I'm looking through our proposed concept lists and seeing if I can pinpoint where those proposed concepts started, and then maybe we can check all the proposed concepts, like 5 before and 5 after, and see if we can get it pinpointed down to where they are.
What I've done is I've looked at the count of synonyms, and the good news is that there's 143 for concept 5993. The next one has 18.
Okay, that's good.
And that one looks okay, but the one after that has 16, and that's 1410, and that's a problem. I've gone all the way through down to 7. I'm still in the 10 synonyms, but the only other one I can see is the caretaker 1410.
Petronella, did we add a synonym to caretaker around the same time that we were looking at this at the PV discharge? I'm looking at our spreadsheets.
Those look like they were done in 2008.
Oh.
Yeah.
June 4th of 2008, which would have been a Wednesday.
So, Buck, is this possible that this could have happened after the upgrade, because it's with the new upgrade that we had additional, is it table or a domain? I don't know which is which for concept proposal.
Yeah, clearly this one with 143 synonyms happened after.
Yeah.
And we know that it happened on June 23rd of 2014. So I think that's before the upgrade.
It was after the upgrade.
Oh, after? Okay. So if June 23rd of this year is after the upgrade, then it happened after the upgrade. But the other one I found, it looks like this has happened once before with caretaker with 1410, and that was in 2008.
Okay.
But all the locales for that, I think, are English, so that's why those are showing up.
Okay. So back, just a quick question. Is it possible that, I mean, I think that question is not valid because I'm trying to look at, I think the local settings happen wherever the hosting of MRS is. So if you change it from any location, as long as it's from where everyone is accessing the same system, it means it will change it for everyone and not for an individual setup in a
No, a user can go to the bottom of the screen and change their locale. And
so if
set in their
they change
preference.
that, okay. So if they change that, will it have any effect when you create a concept? For example, if I change the locale from English United Kingdom to English US, and then probably resolve a concept or do something like, will it affect whatever we're seeing, or is it based on whatever global properties have already been applied?
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Because if you attempt that action and it changes whatever is already set within the global properties, I mean it would. I mean I figure it as though it would cause an issue. But if that doesn't affect that property, I don't know if it will have any issues in terms of submitting what you are doing.
Yeah, I don't know how. Yeah, it looks like the default is English, United Kingdom, which would be the ENGB, and I don't know, it may be that the locale is kind of a red herring, that really isn't significant.
Okay. And now that we also have this issue, I mean, I'm thinking of a lot of things. Is it possible that the resolution of concepts can be done from a separate environment rather than production? Because I don't know.
Not really, because the part of the design of it is it goes and corrects, it updates the production data for all those where they were proposed.
Okay.
So yeah, it looks like this error, it happened once in 2008 at a small, maybe 16 duplicates, but we haven't seen it other than this one concept, the 5993. I've looked through I listed out all the concepts that have 9 or more synonyms, and the only 2 that have a problem like this are 1410, that occurred in 2008, and then 5993, which just occurred in June.
Yeah. And probably one good reason for not having more is because we stopped that process. I mean, if that had continued, I would be having
thousands of them.
Yeah, thousands probably. I don't know what would have happened.
So the question is I've made a copy of the data that were in there. Do you want me to just fix it right now?
Yeah, I think.
Yes.
Okay, that's easy.
Because if it's something that is not valid within the system, there has to be a fix for it so that.
All right. The reason I want to keep, and I'll email out the data that were in there, is that there could be, and it's likely that there are going to be. In fact, I may have trouble clearing it out if there are data, encounters that refer to the bogus ones. So I'll take a look and see if I can clean it up real quickly.
Okay. Thanks.
Are we concerned that this is going to happen in the future? Do we need to test to see whether or not this is going to happen the next time we do it, or maybe 20 times down the road? Or?
Yeah, clearly there's a bug where the concept proposal can manage to create a new concept name, and apparently an invalid one, for every encounter it's updating. And so we definitely should look at the code for that, given that we've only seen it twice in 6 years. I don't know that it's a a problem that will occur all the time right now.
Okay.
Probably worth looking at the code and seeing how, if we can see easily how the it could possibly, create multiples of them.
Okay.
I think a developer going into the code for creating concept proposals with the knowledge that there's a scenario, a bug where it's creating a new one for every encounter that's being updated. So it's specifically when you say, I want to create a synonym, I want to turn this proposal into a synonym. When it goes down that path of the code, there's a scenario where it's creating a new synonym every time it stores that back in an encounter, and that knowing that that's what's happening, my guess is that a developer should be able to, ideally could spot where the bug is.
So just to be clear on this, I just wanted to see how we are relating 5993 and what we've talked about with the invalid OBRs and something like that. Just wanted to find out, could that invalid OBR within the errors that you were talking about be related to the attempt that the user is trying to submit a form with PV discharge, which is not indicated within the synonyms here? Could it be the cause of the forms not being processed and ending up in the error? I don't know.
Yeah, I think maybe this might have that's a good dimension we'll have to look at, because as I mentioned to Willa, basically when we started investigating the issue of HS7 not being processed, the first thing that we did was to copy the WAR file that was in production and put it in test server. Then I picked the messages that were not being processed with the blank OBR. So, and then when we did that in the test server, it processed. I think it might be possible that when we did the resolution in the production, this error may not be in the test server. So it might explain why the messages that are not being processed in production can be processed in test server. That's one thing that maybe we may need to look at. And then it is also possible we need to look at the form that are being submitted and see whether something that is coming in is related to the synonym that is there. Because I explained to Willa that even before the upgrade, we used to have HL7 messages with blank OBR segment that were being processed. And I checked up to June, somehow they were still being processed. So maybe this issue of this concept might affect or may not, but we still need to also look at that.
Yeah. Well, I think the fact that Alfayo mentions before the upgrade, we still had messages not being processed because of blank OBR.
Yeah, being processed. They were being processed.
Oh, with blank, blank, okay. So I don't know.
So this issue of proposed concept might have we need to look at this as soon as possible, because maybe this will be the cause. I don't know.
Yeah, Bonnie. Yeah, one thing is for sure, I don't really think that is the reason, because the problem when you have that PV discharge concept in the form is you can't even open the form, so you can't submit the form with that. That's why Petronila, actually, she has to delete that concept, rebuild the form, and then you can open the form. So these forms that are being submitted don't have that concept in them. It's being deleted.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So one other suggestion probably that I think Petronila would do this probably in the test environment is try to figure out if once she is able to add the same concept, delete and add the concept on the schema, probably try and look at the form fields and figure out what they're representing, just to be able to, just to be sure whether is it PV discharge or is it vaginal discharge? I'm just thinking aloud. I don't know if it's possible to open up the XSN and look at the form field itself and figure out whether, if it is a field on the form. That's what I mean. But if it's something that is being used using a list picker, then probably that will be different. Yeah.
Are they choosing the fully specified name or the synonym?
Yeah, if it is a form field, but if if you look for it within, if it's something that you are searching within the task pane, then probably that's.
So it looks like, not surprisingly, we have 142 observations that point to those different concept names. So that's clearly the problems that went back and to populate each of the encounters where that proposal was used, and it created a new synonym for each one of them. So I'll copy those observations, all the data for those, as well as all the data for the concept synonyms that we had. I'll save those data, and then I'll make them all point to a single synonym and get rid of all but the one synonym.
Thanks, Bob.
Petronella, I'm remembering that when you were talking about doing your remote site visits, you were checking on a problem regarding the concept vaginal discharge. Did you find anything in your remote site visits that would be applicable to this discussion?
After all the servers were upgraded, after each server has been upgraded, the implementers were loading XSLT and building the forms. So after that, the forms could not open. So what I was doing is repeating the same procedure to every other encounter form. I was deleting the concept that had concept ID 5993 in their schema, pulling it back and rebuilding the form so that we could be able to open the form.
So
after
so you had
server,
to do,
yeah,
you had to do what you had to do for the central site as well, for the remote sites. Okay,
yes.
Thank you for sharing.
It should be a form field then. I think it's a form. If it's something you're dragging directly to the schema, it should be a form field.
So do you mean the concept is there, or you remove then you place it back, or you delete?
Yes, okay. For example, we have these questions that have been answered by concept ID 5993. For example, review of system genitourinary. So if that question is in a form, then I delete that question. I pull it back to the schema again, rebuild the XSN. After that, the form would open.
So it means you submitted have this concept.
Yeah.
So, okay.
Yes.
So Will, I think you are getting that. It means whatever you are saying, the concept is not there. Actually, the concept is there on the form.
Come again?
Will, I think the initial statement from Pet seemed to imply that she deleted this concept and it will not be there when you are submitting the form. But from what she's explaining, it seems that she will just remove the concept from the form schema and then put it back. You delete, then you put it back, then you rebuild, then it works.
Yeah, I think that's the basic reason. The basic reason is I think the schema understands that this concept has the changes that are required. I mean, because we are trying to resolve that concept by adding PV distance, which is what we've mentioned exists in the database, but you can because of the local issue.
Yes.
But Willa, one more question I would ask. You said yesterday you only changed one form, that was 347. But I'd wonder why she had to also remove this on other form that had this concept.
Actually, I don't know about other forms. I think I tried 2 other forms because when I couldn't open the one 347, then I said, okay, let me see if I can open the others. So I tried 2 other forms, but yeah, well, maybe I did some rebuild. I did rebuild XSN on those 2. That's why. But I still don't understand why if I rebuild XSN, then we have this problem. It just doesn't make any sense. But anyway, guys, we are way over our time. So I think if guys have they need to leave the call, maybe we should let them go. And then if people still want to discuss, then we can go on discussing. For those who still can still be on the call. I'm just saying because We are now 17 minutes past 9. Past 9 over here, so it's 17 minutes past 4. Past 4, yeah.
Yeah, I'll let Alfayo help us on that to close the code.
So maybe we would ask those people who want to go, they can tell us so that we end the call. And if the remaining number is significant, they are still are still interested in discussing these issues, then we can continue. And anyway, maybe do we still have other things to discuss? What?
Excuse me. Yeah, Bonnie, just FYI, I just created that ticket and it's ONC 15.
15
as a watcher, and I think you'll get an email as well.
Okay, fine. So I think we'll begin adding details as you continue discussing.
All right.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
Back, are you there? Petronila has a question for you. Sorry.
You don't have to apologize if Petronilla has a question for me.
Okay, I was asking if it is possible to remove the synonyms that have been replicated for PV discharge, and then remain with one synonym that we'll be able to view from the dictionary. I don't know whether that one will be able to solve the schema validation error.
Yeah, I'm trying to fix it. It looks like there's several tables, not just observations, but concept word, concept proposal tag map, and concept name tag map all can refer to these. So I need to check those tables as well. And
okay.
What I'm aiming to do is to get them all pointed to one, to one synonym. Now, whether that synonym will show up in the website, I don't know. I'm hoping it will, but first we'll at least clean out the data.
Okay, thank you.
And I'm keeping a copy of all the data that we're changing.
But just off the top of my head, and those other tables referring to the synonyms using the ID?
Say that again.
And those other tables you are referring to the synonyms using the ID? Okay,
yeah, there's several of them. Like the odds table has a value name ID that refers to the specific synonym that was used, and then there's tags, concept name tags that refer to them.
Yeah, and they are referring to synonyms, not the concept?
They're referring to the names, to the synonyms, yes.
Okay.
So when we store an observation value, we store not just the concept, but we also store the particular synonym that was used when it's referenced. That way, when we display those data again, we have the option of showing people exactly what they selected.
Exactly.
Yeah, okay. So we have to, if we have to update those, then we have to do something like, I think we have update cascade on those tables, right?
Yeah, I've already updated the observations to use just to point to one of the synonyms.
Oh, okay, cool.
Okay, that's okay. Then do you still have any other things to discuss?
Should we reopen MRS 265?
This is not closed.
The MRS 265.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Okay, fine.
Maybe we just need to change the assignee so that it is not referring to Petronilla.
It's not closed.
It's not closed.
Okay, guys, I have to go, so I'm gonna leave.
Thanks, Willa. Thanks, everybody. This has been a very productive call, and we've learned a lot. Hoping to meet again next week or tomorrow. Those will be available for the technical call.
Yeah, I'll file the page, please. You promised, okay?
Which page?
This page, the development, the call page, the page in which you are supposed to update what we did in the call.
Yes, let me do that because we have agreed that I'll be doing that. Let me do that now.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Thanks. That would be great. Thanks. Appreciate that. Okay. Bye, guys.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.